Today we're talking about blood testing in a DUI case, and specifically the difference between precision and accuracy. So people often come to our office and they're concerned that the blood results that they have in their case might be above the legal limit. They'll say it's over the limit, it's going to come back high, what can be done? Am I totally screwed? Is there anything you can do to help me? Well, the issue is that we don't need to take that actual result as gospel. Okay? It doesn't mean that just because it came back from the government that we have to believe that it's accurate at all. Here's what happens in a DUI case. Somebody is stopped, the police arrest them, they take them, they draw a sample of blood, that blood goes over to the crime lab, and the crime lab needs to test it. They test it by measuring it against something that they already know. So let's use the example of this marker. So if we want to know the length of this marker, we have to measure it against something whose length we do know. So in a case like this, we're taking this marker and we would be measuring it against a ruler. We know the length of the ruler, we trust the length of the ruler, it's accepted, it's globally accepted, we know what it is, and we want to measure this against that ruler. Because we know the length of the ruler, we can measure this, and we know the length of the marker. Same thing happens in a crime lab. What they do is they take your sample, they measure it against something else. Because they claim they know what that other thing is, they say they know what your blood sample is. The problem is that they have a bad ruler. The ruler is not a known quantity. It's not something that can be trusted. It's not something that can be scientifically validated. And so whatever the result comes back that they measured against, we don't have to trust that either. Let's take a look at how that looks on my bullseyes here. So on this bullseye, we're talking about what's accurate. So if we know the value of this bullseye here, and we measure something else, and we plot the value of that bullseye, and we want to measure something else and plot that, and the plot ends up being here, we know that that result is accurate because it's very, very close to that known value. If we measure it again, and it comes out here, that's another accurate result. It's very close to the bullseye because we know and we trust that bullseye. Same for these results. Now this result would not be accurate. It's not anywhere close to that known value. It's not something that we want to trust. It's an outlier. That's what we're looking for out of a proper and valid crime lab. The problem is that their results are not always accurate. Instead, they're precise. So what we get back as defense lawyers, or you maybe if you're representing yourself, you will get a result back from the crime lab, and it will be a number. And on that same sheet of paper, there'll be a margin of error, essentially, a number that says the resulted number, the number that you have back that is your BAC, could be as high as X, or it could be as low as Y. Could be as high as a 0.10 something, or as low as a 0.90 something, if it's a 0.1. What that is showing you is numbers that are precise. So let's say that that 0.1 was right here. And if they tested it again, and they used the same methodology, and they ran your test 30 more times, and all those results were right around these same areas, we would know that their methodology is producing very precise numbers. They're all very precise. They're all within this same cluster of data. And so those numbers may be precise, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're accurate. Meaning this 0.1 may be precise according to the crime lab results, but it's not actually accurate. It's not actually a 0.1 because the ruler that they're using to measure it against is not accurate. It's not following proper scientific methodology. It's not something that can be trusted. This is the top-down, 10,000-foot level view of how this defense works, and it's based in science. This is not me making things up. There are certain principles of scientific testing that need to be followed, and there are ways that these crime labs screw these up. So this is what you're looking for. We want results to be accurate and precise, so we want them all to be within this same cluster, but all actually on the known value. We don't want them to be precise but inaccurate, and that often happens in DUI cases. So if you've been charged with DUI, or a loved one, or somebody that you care about, and you want to learn more about how this defense might apply or what many other defenses may be in a specific case, give our office a call. We offer free case evaluations. We're happy to speak with you and happy to help. Thanks for watching.